Fantastic. So, as we get started, I'm going to post the link to the PDF that we'll be going off of today in the chat so you guys can follow along if you'd like. So, that link should let you follow along on the PDF. Like we've been talking about, we're just going to go off of this. You can watch the videos. They're hyperlinked. I will be posting those in the chat as well. So, first and foremost, I hope everyone is healthy and safe. Hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you once again for all your support. It truly means a lot to all the coaches. We really enjoy doing what we are doing. We love that you guys are staying connected because that is the most important thing at a time like this. Now, before we get started, I will be going back and forth between this slide and this so I can let people in, just like Miss Ari right there. So if I say 1 second, I'll be going back. So last week we started off with some questions to ask yourself, which were, what do you see? How would you accomplish it? Why it's important, etc., etc. So the questions I want you to ask yourself today are, what's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary? And really, it's in the name. It's in the word. Ordinary, extraordinary. Do that little bit of extra. That's what makes extraordinary different than ordinary. Make sure everyone's in. Perfect. So it's about doing that little bit of extra that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Never get bored with the basics. So there's a little video from Kobe Bryant that talks about when he was in his prime, when he was one of the best players in the league, he would work out for about 2 hours every day. And this guy who went to go watch him was like, oh, I'm going to see the craziest drills I've ever seen. I'm never going to have seen this. It's Kobe Bryant. He's the best player in the league, one of the best players of all time. He's got to be doing something different than everyone else is doing. And for the first 45 minutes to an hour of the workout, this guy talks about how all the things he was doing, Kobe was doing, were the basics. It's what everyone was telling their high school kids what to do, what they're doing in AAU. And the guy asked him at the very end, he's like, Kobe's like, why'd you do that for the first hour, 45 minutes? He's like, those are just the basics. And his response was something along the lines of, well, why do you think I'm the best? It's because he mastered the basics. He never got bored with the basics. So that leads us to our question of the day. It's master of the day. What's one thing you can take from today and become a master of? It doesn't have to be, I'm going to set a world record or I'm going to set an American record. But what's one thing that you can take away today and become a master of? What's something that someone that you know does ordinary, and how can you become a master of it to become extraordinary? So that's my question for you guys of the day. What's one thing that you can take from everything that we've seen and become a master of? It can be something super simple or it can be something a little more complex, but it's up to you. Sure, everyone's in? Perfect. So that's my question for you guys today. What can you take away and become a master of? We've been working a lot on our streamlines these last couple weeks, a lot on ankle flexibility, stuff that you can do outside the pool, or when we get back, stuff you can do on the inside of the pool. So we're going to go through a couple races today. We're going to kind of do a combination of the things that we've been doing. So we're going to take a look at a race, just kind of analyze it, like we did a couple weeks ago. And then we're going to compare and contrast some races. We have 2 races that we're going to compare and contrast. So without further ado, we're going to get started. We're going to watch Michael Phelps's 200 free from 2008, the Olympics. I'm going to post the video in the chat. So feel free to follow along in the chat. The race starts at about the 240 mark. About the 240 mark. This was at the time he broke the world record, and he still has the American record. Someone beat it the year after, and this is probably one of the more unbreakable American records. It's very, very, very fast. He went 142.96, long course 200 free. I don't think anyone has been under 144 for the Americans since then. So it's a very, very, very fast swim and a very good record. So before we get this started, I want to make sure everyone's in. Oh, we got to make sure that Megan's in here. Megan, we are watching the 200 free from the 2008 Olympics. So if you'd like to follow along, the video is right there in the chat. So let's get started. We're going to watch the race, and then we're going to break it down. So Phelps is in lane 6. You can see him right up there. Black cap, and you're going to be able to tell who he is right away. Is because he's going to be winning right away. Now, the old world record was 1:43.8. And Michael Phelps set that, I believe, at the Olympic trials. So he broke his world record by almost a full second. Look at that. He is already just out there. He's already a half a body length ahead on the first 50. We talk a lot about underwaters. Look how he's using his underwaters in a 200 freestyle. In our underwaters clip, we would talk about you have to go fast, but you also have to go far. So he is able to keep up his speed, maintain his speed for a long period of time, especially on those underwaters. Look at that. He's half a body length ahead of the world record. He's a body length ahead of everybody in the first 100 of a 200. He's out 50.29 to his feet. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, but he's out 50.29 in the 100 to his feet. Just a tremendous swim. Now he's almost a full body length ahead of the world record line, and he's body length and a half ahead of everybody else. Great underwater shot if you're watching. Great breakout, and he's just gone. He's been gone, but man, he is really gone. Now, this race was on the other night on NBC Sports. If anyone was able to watch it, they aired all 8 races where he won gold. So 1:42.96 world record, American record. It has stood since 2008. The world record was broken the next year. A German named Paul Biedermann went 1:42.00, which is even crazier. And that's no one has even gotten close to that. Either one of these races. Awesome. So let's dissect it. Make sure everyone's in. Perfect. So I'm just going to have this kind of on repeat so we can kind of talk about it. So the first thing we always talk about is stroke counts. So his first 50, he took 12 and a half cycles. Remember, 1 cycle equals 2 strokes. So 12 and a half cycles. The next 50, his second 50, he was 13 cycles. Third 50, he was 14. Last 50, he was 14 and a half. So it's pretty incredible that he was able to keep his entire 200 free within 2 cycles of each 50. His first 50 was 12 and a half. Last 50 was 14 and a half. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But let's take a look at the cycle counts from the 2016 Olympic trials. So if you're looking at my screen, you'll see in 2016 at the Olympic trials for men, the first 50, the average amount of cycles was 14 and a half. They went up to 16 and a half, 17 and a half, the third 50, and then 19 cycles the last 50. So he took 4.5 less cycles his last 50 compared to the average 2016 Olympic trials. That is incredible. 4.5 cycles is 9 strokes. So he took 9 less strokes on his last 50. Just incredible what he was able to do on a 200 free. Just absolutely incredible. Perfect. Everyone's in. So now we're going to take a look at his splits. So we already know he's taken absurdly less number of strokes than everybody in the field. But he's also going so much faster than everybody in the field. So if you're listening to Rowdy Gaines, one of his commentating points is he's going out faster than everybody, but he's also going to bring it back faster than everybody, which is dead on. His first 100, he was out in 50.2. We already talked about that. His second 100 was 52.6. 52.6. You look at his 50s, his last 3 50s were 25.9, 26.5, and 26.1. So beautifully swim. He was right in that range we like to see. He wasn't 25, 26, 27, and he wasn't 25, 26, 25. He did a great job of swimming that race. So the fade, he had a fade of 2.3 seconds. So remember, a fade is the difference between his first 100 and his second 100. So he was 2.3 seconds slower his second 100 than his first 100. The average fade for a tuner-free long course, if you remember from our short course versus long course clinic, is about 3 seconds. So he is way, way, way under. Almost 7/10 of a second under, which is incredible, like I said. So now we're going to talk a little bit of his race strategy. So, Olivia, I know you're in here. Olivia, I want you to say in the chat when you think he makes his move. And if you want to add a little seasoning to it, add a little flavor to it, what do you think he does to help make his move? And if you need a little hint, think about what we talked about last week with Souse's 200 fly, specifically with his stroke count. So when does he make his move? And if you want a little add to it, what does he do to make his move? So that's the question is for Olivia. You can put your answer in the chat. What does he do to make his move and when you think he does it? And that question is for Olivia. Makes a move around the third 50, and I think he picks up his tempo. Absolutely. Great answer. Great. Really well done. So if you take a look at his 50s and at his splits, he absolutely makes a move that third 50. Absolutely. We talked about he was able to take it out nice, fast, and controlled in 50.2, and he absolutely made a move that third 50. He picked up his tempo. He went from 13 cycles to 14 cycles. But like we talked about with Silas and his 200 fly last week, he does a great job of keeping that stroke count under control. Anyone can make a move and take more strokes. Say he could go from 13 to 19. Yeah, he made a move. He took more strokes, but he kept it within that range. He made a move, but he kept his stroke count consistent. So he absolutely did a great job of making a move. So Amy, this next question is for you. When does he start to hunt and kill? When does he start to hunt and kill? That last part of his race where he's really going at it. He is emptying the tank. So Amy, that question is for you. When does he hunt and kill? And if you're watching my screen, I'll play that last 50 for you so you can kind of all take a look at it together. Amy, when do you think he hunt and kills? And if you really are looking at it, take a look at those last 15 meters, those last 10 meters when he puts that head down. So Amy, when do you think he hunt and kills? When does he dig deep and just go for it? At the last 25-ish. Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're watching it on my screen, I'm going to play it right about that 25-meter mark. He's going, and those last 25 meters, he picks up his kick a little bit. His tempo, he's still picking it up. But then those last 5 or 6 strokes, he puts his head down, and he just, everything he got into that wall. Boom, boom, boom. He took 3 strokes, those last about 5 meters or so. When his old rhythm, he probably only needed to take 2. But he got into that wall, and he finished on a nice, long, perfect stroke. He didn't jam his finish, which he's kind of done every once in a while, and he didn't stretch out really long and kind of glide in. He adjusted for the wall with his fast strokes. Really nice job. Olivia, Amy, great answers. Really nicely done. Boom, boom, boom. Head down, attacks that wall. Great job. And still, like I said, one of the fastest tuner frees of all time. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper here. Before that, just make sure everyone's in. Perfect. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper now. We're going to talk a little bit about his first 100. Like we talked about, he was out 50.2. And if you're listening to the race, Rowdy Gaines is talking about, well, he's out faster than everybody, but he's going to be able to bring it back faster than everybody. Well, absolutely he's able to go out faster than everybody. And here's the reason why. The next day, he led off the 400 free relay at finals, one of the greatest races of all time. We've watched that race many times with Jason Lezak. He led off that relay, the 400 free relay, in 47.5. He was 47.5. That was the American record. 47.5. And he took out his first 100 of his 250.2, remember. So that is about a 2.7 second difference between the two, almost 3 seconds. If you remember Takeout Tuesday, we like to see short course, our 200 frees, about 2.5 seconds different than our 100. So he's a little bit higher. So this is a next level question. So I'm giving it to Alex Frick. Alex Frick, what does this tell you the difference between short course and long course when you're taking out a race? So short course, we'd like to see you out a little bit faster. What does this tell you about long course? If you need a hint, think about our short course versus long course racing clinic when we talked about speed, endurance, and power. So Alex Frick, this is a next level question. There's no wrong answer. What do you think this tells us the difference between short course and long course? He's out a short course. We'd like 2 to 2.5 seconds. And he's about 2.7. And I would guess most people hear about 2.7 or 3 as well. So Alex Frick, take a shot in the dark. What do you think? Like I said, there's no wrong answer. We're going to talk about it no matter what. You don't have to take it out that fast. Like we talked about, that's great. Like we talked about at the clinic, the most important parts of long course are still speed. You got to be able to take it out fast. You can't go 142 if you go out in 52. But you have to be under a little bit more control. In long course, it's speed, then endurance, then power. Now, he's getting great underwaters and power off his turns, but like Rowdy Gaines said, he doesn't slow down. Long course is about who slows down the least. So he still took it out fast. I bet if you compare it to everybody here, he definitely took it out the fastest, but I bet he was able to take it out the fastest and the most controlled. Like you look at the guy in lane 1 at the bottom who probably finished near the 7th or 8th, he's taking it out way too fast. He flipped second at the 50. Look at him down there. But yes, like Alex said, you still need to take it out fast, but you don't have to take it out as fast long course. Short course, it's speed, power, and endurance. Long course, speed, endurance, power. Still got to go out fast, but you got to be under more control. Got to be under more control. You got to be able to make a move. You got to be able to hunt kill. If you go out way too fast, there's a long way in between those turns. Excellent job, Alex Frick. Really nice job. So my next question, I need Gabby Blake. And let's see, is Simone still in here? I need Gabby Blake, Simone, and Ari to all put one catechism that they see during this race. So one catechism that they see for freestyle. If you need help, the catechisms for freestyle are on my screen. Head steady and level, one goggle breathing, breathe with shoulders, hold the line. Fingertips, drive body, stretch and snap, kick strong, straight forward, straight back, and snap the breath. I want one catechism from each of you. Gabby Blake, Simone, excellent, straight forward, straight back, absolutely, and Miss Ari. Snap the breath. Oh, he does. If you watch that race, his one goggle, one breathing, he is getting the head right back down. Straight forward, straight back, absolutely, Simone. Excuse me. If you were watching the underwater shot off the turn, you can see him catch that water and throw it right back to his feet. All right, now we're just waiting for Miss Ari. All right, if you need help with the catechisms, they're right here. But I know you know them like the back of your hand. Oh, she left me. Oh, no. All right. Akos, help us out. Akos, one catechism in the chat. Straight forward, straight back, snap the breath. Akos, we need one more from you. Here are the catechisms one more time. If you need some help. All right, we're going to come back to the coast while she's thinking. Now, Megan, I want you to grade his turns. So we talked a lot about turns. Talked about getting into your last stroke, getting under your wave. So Megan, on a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to grade his turns. What do you think he did on his turns? Between his underwaters, ducking under his wave, getting under his wave for that last stroke, going into the turn. Megan, I want you to grade his turns on a scale of 1 to 5 while Akos adds one more catechism to the chat. Hold the line. Absolutely, the Akos. He is not wiggling around. He is nice and straight. He is right down the middle of that pool. Nice strength there. He's not too tight and he's not loose. Back is nice and dry. Nice job. Megan says 6 out of 5. I agree. Some great turns. Great turns. I would say one of his turns, maybe he gets a little crunched on, but man, his turns are amazing. He only got 3 turns, but he was able to attack them. Like we said, got under his wave and did a great job with it. Awesome job. Well done, you guys, with all your answers. So we're going to move on now. We're going to move on now. So we're now to compare and contrast. So I did all that work with this one, and I did all this, and then I realized I accidentally did 2 freestyle races. So next week when we do this, I won't do any freestyle races. That was my apologies. But it's too good of an example to not watch. So we're going to watch Caleb Dressel's 100 frees. So the first one we're going to watch is his 2016 Olympic trials. 2016 Olympic trials, Caleb Dressel. And then we're going to watch his 2019 American record. So it was 3 years apart. So the video right now that's in the chat is 2016 Olympic trials. He's in lane 3 if you're watching my screen. The race just started. So we're going to watch what his 100 looks like. So he's out there right away. Boom. He's going for it. Now he's already kind of faded back into the pack a little bit. Anthony Irvin up in lane 2 is just going nuts. And Nathan Adrian's right there in lane 4 looking great. So Caleb Dressel's 3rd right now. And look at that, he's probably like almost 4th and 5th coming off that turn. Did not have the best turn. He's right there. Remember, you need top 2 to make an individual race. Top 6 make it for that relay. So there goes Caleb Dressel. He's charging a little bit. It's between him and Ryan Held. Puts his head down and finishes. Makes the Olympic spot individually. Nathan Adrian, 47.7. Caleb Dressel was 48.2. And he's excited. He's pumped. Good times. All right. So I'm going to keep that race in your mind. Now we're going to watch his 200 free American record from the previous summer, from last summer. I'm going to put that in the chat if you'd like to follow along. Excellent. So if not, you always can watch my screen while people are getting their hairs cut and dancing and dogs are on medicine balls. Of course, it's Geico. All right, so here we go. The race starts right away. He's in lane 4. Black cap right above the Australian, the yellow cap. So once again, he's out first. Like we talked about dive, he's got a great dive. So he has more free speed, those 15 meters. But it's about what he can do afterwards, especially in long course. So once again, he's out fast. Look at that turn. Look how he accelerated into that turn. I hope you guys are watching that. That was an incredible acceleration. It's something he didn't do in 2016. So he's still going, still moving. Now, Kyle Chalmers, the Australian's creeping up on him a little bit. Kyle Chalmers is an amazing back half center, but look at that. Puts his head down. He's churning that water, straight arm. He's just attacking, and he gets the touch. American record, 2nd fastest swim of all time, 46.96. New American record, 5/100ths off the world record. So, now that we've done that, let's compare and contrast the 2 races because they're very interesting. It's incredible what he was able to do in 3 years. Sherman's in. Excellent. So, in 2016, he took 17 cycles his first 50. 17 cycles. The second 50, he took 20.5. So let's take a look at the 2016 averages. So he was 17 and 20.5. Male, 100 free. He was average is 16.5, 19.5. So he's right about where most people are. He's about a half a cycle to a full cycle ahead. So I hope you guys are able to see that the first 50, especially those first 30 meters in 2016, he was spinning those wheels. He took a lot of strokes those first 20, 30 meters. We like to call that tires in snow. He was spinning, spinning, spinning. He wasn't really grabbing much. So, and you can see that kind of in how he split the race. His first 50, he was 22.8. Then he was 25.3. So he's about 2.5 second fade, which is a little bit higher than the average. A little bit higher. Now, he's Olympic trials, his first one. He's in the final for a spot to go to the Olympics. So I bet he was a little bit excited. That probably plays a little bit into it. And he's also got some speed to burn, so he probably got to go out a little faster. But so he was spinning his wheels just a little bit. I hope you guys saw that. That was first 30 meters. He really jumped on it. He was just going for it. Looked like some tires in snow. Now let's look at 2019. Now this is incredible right here. This is probably the craziest jump. In 2019, he was 14.5 cycles his first 50, and then he was 17.5. So if you look, that's 2.5 less cycles his first 50, and that's 3 less cycles his second 50. So 2.5, that's 5 strokes. 3, that's 6 strokes. He took 11 less strokes in a 100 free in 3 years. It's incredible. If you look at his splits, look at this, 22.2, 24.6. So his fade is right there. It's 2.3 seconds. Something tells me he did a lot of practicing where he was trying to go 24.6 or 24.7 on 50s from a push. So he's right at the average. So if you look at that, 2019, he took 11 less strokes. His first 50, he took 2.5 less, but he went out more than a half a second faster. It's 0.6 seconds faster. 2019, he took 3 less cycles, but he brought it back almost a full second faster, 0.7 of a second faster. So let's see who am I going to call on. Who am I going to call on? They're all nervous. They're all nervous. They're all nervous. Ari, since you left us last time, what's a similarity between the two races? What is a similarity between the two races? If you think about the starts clinic and the idea we talked about free speed. So Ms. Ari, what do you think a similarity is between the two races? And since we have a little bit less people here today, there will be multiple questions asked to the same person. No worries, Ari. Just giving you a hard time. I know it's something with the connection. So what was a similarity between the two races? And while she's thinking of that answer, Jack Paul, double L, I want you to think about how he was able to take less strokes but go faster that first 50 and that second 50. How is he able to take less strokes but go faster? If we think about that, that goes back to our freestyle clinic and the idea of the space and how you have more room the longer the events are. So Ari's saying that the similarity is that he went out fast. Absolutely, he went out fast. Yeah, he went out fast, and he was the first of 15 in both of his races. So he did the exact same race. He was able to go out fast that first 15, and that first 50, he's able to hold on to it. Now, so that's the idea of that free speed. You go to 15 meters, you have a better start, good underwater, so you have more free speed. Now, Jack, let's see what double L answered. Better start and better underwater. Yeah, he definitely got better underwater. But he's probably able to take less kicks, but go faster and go farther. But so absolutely right. And the idea of space is he was able to really stretch out a little bit more in 2019. So he was able to take less strokes. Absolutely, underwaters play a huge part of it. They were better, they were faster, they were farther. But he was also able to grab a lot more water, stretch out, grab hold of it, and pull back while able to go faster. So he was able to take less strokes, go faster by being more efficient with his strokes, but also being effective with his strokes. Efficient and effective, also with his underwaters. So Luella, I want you to see what did he do with his hunt and kill, specifically in 2019. What was he able to do with his hunt and kill in 2019? If you're watching my screen, if you're watching the race, It happens at about the 15-meter mark. What does he do those last 15 meters that no one else does? No one else does that in the entire race. Maybe Greenev in Russia does it a little bit, but not nearly as good. So Luella, what does he do those last 15 meters, that no one else does? When he hunts and kills, especially in 2019. 2016 did a little bit, and that helped him beat Ryan Held, but man, does he do it in 2019. So that question is for Luella. I said there's no wrong answer, so feel free to put it out there. If you're watching my screen, I'm just putting those last 15 meters-ish on repeat. Times it up beautifully. Kyle Chalmers is charging. Kyle Chalmers is doing something that Caleb Dressel is not doing. Take a guess. Speeds up a lot? All right, he speeds up. It's yes, but also how does he do it? By not breathing and attacking his wall. So if you notice, his last 50, he's breathing every cycle, and he's got a really nice almost gallop in his stroke. He's really relaxing. He's being nice and long. He's bouncing on that armpit. And then when his 15-meter hits, he stops breathing, and he goes straight into almost a 50-style stroke where his hands are just going. Now it's about grabbing the water and pushing it back as much as he can. So yes, he speeds up a lot by not slowing down, by making himself not slow down. Like we talked about long course, it's about not slowing down as much. So he stops breathing, and then he goes from a nice kind of gallop stroke, his nice 100 freestyle stroke, almost into a 50 stroke where it's about grabbing that water and pushing it back as fast as he can. Great job. Nice answer, Luella. Nice job, Double L. Nice job, Ari. So, last thing we're going to talk about these two races is we're going to talk about his first 50. So, in 2019, his 50 was 20.9. He did that a little bit later in the meet. So, 20.9. We talked about this with Michael Phelps, so we talked about taking it out. So his first 50 in 2019 was 20.2. That's a difference about 1.3 seconds between 20.2, his first 50 and his 100, and when he went his 50, 20.9. So that's perfect. That's just what we like to see. About 1.3 second difference between your individual 50 and your first 50 of your 100. So if you're a 25 person in the 50, gotta be out about 26. Long course, about 26, 26.3. So perfect job from Caleb Dressel. And guess what? I bet he practiced that as well. So great job with all your answers. Now it's time to our last comparison of the day. We're going to look at Lily King and her 100 breaststrokes. So we're going to look at her 100 breasts. This is same Olympic trials. Same as Caleb Dressel. Get rid of Caleb Dressel races. So you'd like to follow along in the chat. Lily King. Race is going to start at about the 2:10 mark. If you'd like to follow along with some Rowdy Gaines commentary, it's in the chat. If you would like just to follow along on my screen, feel free. So she's white cap right in the middle. So here she goes. She is about the speed. Lily King is about going out fast. I'll tell you that much right now. Especially, like we talked a lot about that in breaststroke. It's about going out fast now. It's about keeping the hips out. It's about having a good tempo. It's about having a narrow kick. This is a very important part of the race to watch. Watch her turn and watch her underwater. So she's about half a second ahead of Katie Miley, who's in lane right above her. Look who pops out in front. That's a very key. Very key. I want you guys to remember that. Both for questions later and for the next race we're going to watch. She turns about 0.4 to a half a second ahead. They turn, and Katie Miley is pulled even or almost a little bit ahead. She's charging the wall. Great swim. First Olympic team. I think this was her sophomore year of college. I think it was her sophomore year. Awesome swim. So she was 105.2 in that swim. 105.2. Awesome. So now we're going to watch. This is a year later. This is at the World Championships in 2017. This is where she sets the world record. This is the only breaststroke world record that the Americans have, both male and female. So the race starts at about the 8-second mark. She's in lane 5, black cap. Right under Yulia Efimova, who's all pink. Now, I hope you guys noticed the difference already, like we talked about, off the turn. Hopefully, you guys saw off the start that she was able to improve her pull downs a little bit. Because look how before she was right with everybody, and then she swam away from them. Now she's already ahead of them off that pull out. So here she goes. Look at that. She's a bye length ahead of everybody going into the turn. 29.8 the first 50. Just incredible. Incredible. 29.8. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. 29.8. Remember that. World record line. She's ahead of it. Oh, but she's getting tired. She's got to increase her stroke rate. Keep her hips nice and high. Finish on a full stroke. World record. Beats Efimova. Great swim. Now, one thing I hope you guys saw, when it's time for breaststroke hunt and kill, she wanted to finish on a full stroke each race. So she had to pick up her tempo, kind of right about where the flags would be in a normal meet. So she picked up her tempo so she could finish on a full stroke. How many times in breaststroke do people jam the wall or have to glide and try to get taller into that wall? Got to adjust your stroke count or strokes from the flag so you can finish on a full stroke, just like she did in both races. So make sure everyone's good. Excellent. So now we're going to talk about her races. So in 2016, she was 23 cycles, 27 cycles, her first and second 50. Let's take a look at the averages. So women's 100 breast, 20 and 25. So she is higher than the average. And you can see that, but she has taken a lot of strokes. A lot of strokes. Like I said, she's 23 and 27. So she's taken on average about 5 more than other people. There's a couple reasons for this. We're going to talk about the one in a little bit. Her phase is about 4.3 seconds. Average phase about 4.1. So she's a tad higher than average. 30.4 going out, 34.7 coming back. 4.3 seconds. A little higher than the average. Now let's take it to 2017. Now here's where things get fun. She took the exact same number of strokes, 23 and 27. Now, that is not by accident. That tells me that she practices taking 27 strokes from a push, trying to go 34 seconds. That tells me from a dive, she is trying to go 23 cycles, trying to go 30 seconds. When you get to this level, nothing's by accident. Even when you get to our level, age group 1, age group 2, junior 1, nothing is by accident. You race how you practice. So if you practice taking 100 strokes of breaststroke and you want to, it's not going to work. So, but this time, look at this, 23, 27. She went 104.1. So she chopped a full second off her time. Her fade was 4.5 seconds. So it was a little bit higher of a fade. Now, this is like we talked about in breaststroke. Lily King knows that her advantage is speed. She can go out faster than you, and she knows it. So she's sent everybody else for their race. They're all of a sudden, if they want to try to keep up with her, her first 50, they're doing someone else's race, which is very important that we swim our race. But she's put such a huge difference between her and everybody else that they now have to try even harder that second 50, and they might spin their wheels and get a little tired, and they might be done. So she is setting the tempo. She is going out fast because she can, because she trains that way, she works that way, and that is her race, and she dares you to come out and get her. So like we talked about, long course, it's important to be under control, but you can't think, oh, it's long course, I'll be able to bring it back, because you're going to get beat. It's about speed. The limiting factor is speed. You can't go 104.1 if you go out in 30.2. You want to go 104.1, you got to go out fast. You got to go out under 30 like she did. You got to go out fast. That's kind of what Lily King, that's what Lily King does. But look at this. She took the same number of strokes. In 2017, she was out the same number of strokes, but she was out almost a full second faster. Sorry. About a full half a second faster. 2017, same number of strokes, back a little bit under half a second faster. So she was out faster in the same number of strokes. So that means she worked on her efficiency. Her effectiveness was there. She was able to take all her necessary strokes, but she worked on her efficiency. She was able to make sure she was getting everything out of her pull, everything out of her kick. So, Mad Max, this question's for you. She was next to Katie Miley in both races. What was the improvement she made in 2017 that was a glaring weakness in 2016? The hint, look off the start and look off the turn. That's why I was saying pay attention to those kind of stuff. Look at the difference between 2016 and 2017 off the start and off the turn. Now, it's kind of a weakness for her, but she is really working on it. Yes, Mad Max, her pullouts. If you notice in 2016, if you're watching my screen, let's see if I can time this up right. She goes in ahead of Katie Miley by about half a body length, about 0.4 of a second. And then coming off that turn, Katie Miley's ahead of her. And everyone caught up to her a little bit. Now, when she started swimming, she started to race everybody. She got ahead of them again. And we look at 2017, if I can time this up right. Off the turn. Now, she's still about half a second ahead. But look at that. No one really catches up to her as much. Look at that. What happened in 2016, Katie Miley went up to her and almost passed her a little bit. This time, not at all. So she made a great improvement on her pullouts. And that helped her not only take the same number of strokes, but also helped her be a little more efficient with those strokes. Great answer, Mad Max. Well done. So let's go. We've been doing this with all the races. We've been talking about what they've done at the same meet. We talked about Caleb Dressel in his 50 free. We talked about Michael Phelps in his 100 free. Now we're talking about Lily King. At the same meet, she went 29.4 in the 50 breast, which is a world record. 29.4 in the 50 breast. But look at that. It's only 0.4 second difference between her first 50 of her 100. That's incredible. So if you remember Takeout Tuesday, we talk about breaststroke. You got to go out fast. Breaststroke's about going out fast. It's about being able to be effective and efficient. Now, Gabby Blake, I know I gave away the answer right here if you're watching my screen, but what does effective and efficient mean to you? What does effective and efficient mean to you? If I say to you, hey, Gabby Blake, be effective, but remember, also be efficient, what does that mean? And I kind of gave you the answer, unfortunately, on the clinic sheet. So if you're looking at my screen, you have the answer. Or if you go to the chat, if you follow the link, you'll have the answer. So Gabby Blake, what does effective and efficient mean to you? I saw Simone straight forward, straight back. I was like, oh, fast and long. I know, I gave you the answer. Sorry, Gabby Blake. Yes, it's about being fast. Like we talked about, the limiting factor is speed. But that's effective. That's effective. You're getting that stroke. But effective also means you got to get everything out of your stroke. So if you're this little water bug taking 100 strokes your first 50, yeah, you're going to be good that first 30 meters or so. But it's about being long as well, getting the most out of every stroke. Effective and efficient, fast and long. It's like we talked about, breaststroke, 0.4 second difference between her world record 50 and the first 50 of her world record. That's incredible. Now, before we wrap up today, this right here is our sign up for this Friday session. If you notice, there's only one person signed up, and that was Silas 2 weeks ago. Sign up for some races. Either they can be your own race, they can be a race you saw on YouTube or on NBC Sports from the last couple weeks, but sign up for some races. They're a lot more fun when you're invested in them. It's fun when I'm doing it and I'm like, "Ooh, this is so much fun to do." But find some races to do. They can be yours. They can be a race that we've already talked about. But get involved a little bit more with this. It's a lot more fun when you're like, "Oh, I saw that. That's so interesting." So I'm gonna keep including this in the emails I send out, but sign up for some. It's a lot of fun. Like we talked about, we had a lot of fun looking at Silas's race. So it can be a race that was bad. Absolutely. Well, I don't really think there's a bad race, but if you think it was your mind, then yeah, absolutely. It can be any kind of race. Coach Denny had an idea that we're gonna do next week that we're gonna talk about when races don't go well and bouncing back and all that kind of fun stuff. So absolutely, any kind of race you want, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about like we did. We'll talk about what you do well. We'll talk about what we need to improve upon. Like we just talked about two world records and an American record and what they could do to improve and what they did well, what they can work on. So absolutely, there's always stuff to work on, even in world record swims. So with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Hope you guys are staying safe, having fun. Thank you all so much for being here today. Means a lot. Hope you guys are all staying healthy. Hope you guys are staying active, staying fit. And this will be on YouTube later if you'd like to watch it again, because I know everyone would like to. They're great videos. We have a Flashback Friday today. Please feel free to submit some more photos. And we'll see you guys soon. Stay fit, stay active, stay engaged, stay connected with your friends. We'll see you guys soon. And sign up for some meetings, some group meetings. We just had one today. It was so much fun. It was great seeing them. You're very welcome, Gretchen. I remembered. Sign up for some meetings. They're so much fun. Yes, sign up, Ari. Get some friends. And let's do it.